Welcome to this video on linear programming. This is secondary mathematics. This topic is found in book 4, should be chapter 7. And we have linear inequalities taught back in form 2, but this is taught in form 4. And so situations of simple linear equations were discussed back in form 2. And so in this section, inequalities representing given conditions involving real life situations will be discussed. Okay, so I have an exercise here which is particularly exercise 7.1 that I want us to do a couple of questions, and if time allows me I may do up to number 7. If not, I will only do up to where my time is really indicated that I should stop at. Okay, but hopefully you'll enjoy this video. I'll try to simplify the questions, and now that inequalities are quite involving, I'll make sure that I use the simplest model so that my learners can always have something to learn. Thank you. So let's get started. The first question reads, Steven's salary is twice as much as his wife's. The wife's salary is in excess of 4,000 shillings. The sum of their monthly salaries is not more than 16,000. So if the wife's salary is B shillings, form all the inequalities in B to represent that information. Okay, so let me go to the working space. We'll start by writing these two people here, and the first one is Stephen, and we also have the wife. Okay, the question tells us clearly that the wife earns B shillings. So wife earns B shillings here, and a salary for Stephen is twice as much as that of his wife, so this should be 2B. All right, so this is 2 times that exactly. And then you're told that the wife's salary is in excess of 4,000. So excess means, and by the way, we have terminologies that we need to be careful about. Excess, not more than, at least, at most. Those ones, they insinuate very fundamental symbols, and as far as inequalities are concerned, and we need to make sure that we know how to interpret that. So we are told the wife's salary is in excess of 4,000, and so we are going to say B is more than 4,000. Okay, and that is our first inequality as far as that question is concerned. And then the sum of their monthly salaries is not more than 16. So not more than means less than or equal to. So we add their salaries. We have 2B plus B is less than or equal to 16,000. So we simplify this, we get 3B is less than or equal to 16,000, and so B is less than or equal to 16,000 divided by 3. That becomes our second inequality. Is it possible for B to be 0? No. So we have another additional inequality that B should be bigger than 0, and so we have those 3 main inequalities as far as that question is concerned. Alright, we have answered that. We are told form all inequalities in B to represent the information. Okay, that's cool. So let's go to question number 2. In a physics test, George scored more marks than John. The two together scored more than 100 marks, with John's not less than 20. If the marks scored by George and John were X and Y respectively, form all the inequalities representing the situation. Okay, so they have simplified the question for us by giving us what we're going to use as far as the score for George and John are concerned. So I'll begin by writing George here, and then John. Okay, these are the two individuals that we're going to work the inequalities for. And we are told that George scored X. Okay, so George scored X marks and John scored Y marks. All right. The sum of their marks was more than 100. So if you take what George scored plus what John scored, that will be more than 100. Okay, that becomes our first inequality. That's good. And then with John's not less than 20. So whatever John scored, so John scored something not less than. Not less than means it's bigger or equal to 20. Okay, that's our inequality. Then we have if the marks called by George and John were X and Y, so that one we already know. But is it possible to have Y equal to 0? No, so Y should be bigger than 0. That's another thing. And also X, we presuppose that also the marks called by George was not equal to 0. That makes sense. So that's it for the 2. Now we have question number 3 that reads, Juma is 2 centimeters taller but 3 kgs lighter than Kundu. The sum of their heights is not less than 240 centimeters and the sum of their weights is less than 150 kilograms. If Kundu is X centimeters tall and weighs Y kgs, form all the inequalities in X and Y to represent the information. Okay, so that makes sense also. Let me create space here. So we have 2 people here. The first one is Juma and the other one is Kundu. The information given is that Juma is 2 centimeters taller than Kundu. So, and we are told that Kundu is X centimeters. So if Kundu is X, Juma is X plus 2 because Juma is 2 centimeters taller. About weight, again, we are told that Kundu weighs Y kg, but again, Juma is 3 kgs lighter than Kundu. So if Kundu weighs Y kg, and I should talk of centimeters here, I should talk of centimeters to represent this is the height. This should be the weight. Okay, so this is Y kgs and Juma is we are told that is 3 kgs lighter than Kundu, so it should be Y minus 3 kgs. That's perfect. So we go and now write the other inequality arising from the sum. We are told that the sum of their weights is less than 150. The sum of their weight is not less than 150, and also the sum of their heights is less than 240. It's not less than 240. Sum of their heights. So we start with height first. We sum X plus 2 plus X is not less than. So meaning it's bigger than or equal to 240. And so this is 2X plus 2 is greater than or equal to 240. So 2x is greater than or equal to 238. X is greater than or equal to 119 centimeters. That's the first inequality so far. So the second inequality is coming from the weight. Okay, so we are told that the sum of their weights is less than 150. So if you add their total weight, the weight is y minus 3 plus y is less than 150. Okay, so 2y is less than 153. Okay, and so y is less than or equal to 153 divided by 2. That gives me 76.5 kgs. Okay, so that's another inequality. So we have the first inequality is x is bigger than or equal to 119. The second one is y is less than, should have been less than, so less than here should have been less than, because it's a strict inequality. By the way, we have 2 types of inequalities. We have strict and not strict. The strict one is when you don't have equal to. So this one is less than 150, and so down here, that's why we have a strict inequality, less than, and so this should be less than 76.5 kgs as our second. Also, it's not possible to have zero height, so we say x is greater than 0, that becomes our third. And also weight can't be a 0 weight, so we say y is bigger than 0. Don't forget those ones. Okay, so we have first, second, third, and fourth inequalities. Okay, so we do the last part here. We are told that Chesang has 10 more goats than Walumbe. Altogether, they own not less than 60 goats. If Walumbe's goat numbering more than a third of the total, by choosing a letter to represent the number of Wafula's goat, write down all the inequalities. So we come straight here and we write these two people. We have Chesang and we have Walumbe. Okay, so Chesang has, we are told to use a letter of our choice to represent what Walumbe had, and let's say Walumbe had X goats, so X goats, and because Chesang had 10 more goats than Walumbe, so we have X plus 10. Okay, and then we are told that they own not less than 60 goats. Okay, so if you sum these two, x plus 10 plus x is not less than, so it's greater than or equal to 60. So you notice that 2x is greater than or equal to 60 minus 10. So 2x is greater than or equal to 50, and so x is greater than 20 or equal to 25. That's the first inequality. Okay, the second inequality comes where we are told that Walumbe's goats were numbering more than a third of the total. So x is, it's more than a third of the total. Total goats were 60, so x is bigger than 20. So the second inequality there. And then it's not possible to have 0 goats. So in this kind of a situation, so x should be bigger than 0. That's the third inequality. So we stop there for that session. I will continue with the solution of linear inequalities for complicated graphical solutions and problems in my next video. Thank you.